What's up YouTube, Jerryland here with NOBA Tech. I spent a few days this past weekend with the iPhone SE and you know what I concluded? It's not the phone for me. But hey, it might be the phone for you, so stick around and check out my review of the iPhone SE. So I'm just gonna tackle the big point right off the bat. This phone for 16 gigabytes retails for $399, and to quadruple that storage to 64 gigabytes, it's only $100 more for $499. That's $500 for an awesome iPhone. So although I said this isn't the phone for me, let's tell you why I think this might be for you. So it's 2016 and we are all waiting for the iPhone 7 to come out, which should look different than the iPhone 6 or 6S or the S Plus or the 6S Plus. Blah, 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 all those different iPhones. The iPhone 7 should look different. But before that comes out, we got this. This is the iPhone SE, and it's kind of like a flashback to the past with the iPhone 5 or 5S body, but what's cool about this phone is that the internals are different. And when I say different, I mean different in a good way. So think of the iPhone 6S and cram all that awesome technology into this tiny little 4-inch screen body. And you know what? I like that. So just like the 6S, this has a great camera, 12 megapixels. It takes amazing photos just like all the other iPhones out there. And it also does 4K video recording as well as slow motion 1080p at 120 frames per second. So this is a great camera on this phone. But the front-facing FaceTime camera is definitely not as good as the 6S, so don't be tricked by that. So Apple's definitely trying to compete with all those other low-budget phones, so you can spend $300 and get a great flagship nowadays. But if you spend an extra $100, Apple is saying that you can get an iPhone. So, clever Apple. Now, if you're someone who already has an iPhone 5 or 5S, you might be saying, why would I go out and get the SE? Well, like I said, all the specs are a lot different now. This phone is a lot faster than before. The camera, like I said, is amazing now. And there's all the different features that the 6S has that this also has now as well, except for 3D touch. So you may be asking, Jerry, is there anything on the outside that's actually different about this phone from the previous 5 or 5S model? Well, not really. So even the fingerprint sensor is the same one from the old phones. It's not the same fingerprint sensor that we have on the 6S or 6S Plus, so it's definitely not as good, but it's not that bad either. I've noticed that the lightning port must be kind of different because from my previous video where I tested the 5 or 5S lightning battery cases, they didn't work with this for some reason. So there's gotta be something going on in here internally or externally, I guess, with this port that's different. Other than that though, the exterior is about the same, aside from the new rose gold color. So like I said, after spending a few days, or I guess this past weekend with it, I gotta say I can't go back to this phone, so this will be going back to the Apple Store. I'm just too used to my 6 Plus and that beautifully large screen, not just for watching videos and playing games, but also typing. It's incredibly hard for me to use my big fingers to type on this tiny 4-inch screen. So, sorry, but the iPhone SE is not the phone for me. I will give it a huge plus and say this phone is so conveniently small. I really do miss the small form factor. I wish the screen was slightly larger, so I wish they made an iPhone 6 or 6S but in this rectangular format because I actually really like the body of the iPhone 5 and 5S. Most people are pretty pissed off at Apple for the iPhone SE and how they just use the old iPhone 5 or 5S body, but honestly that doesn't really bother me. I gotta say, that's a pretty smart move. So kudos to you, Apple. Check this out. Fits in that pocket, fits in this pocket, fits in my back butt pocket. This is just a really comfortable form factor and I just love how light it is and how small it is and how easy it is to carry around. So that is a big plus. But again, the 4-inch screen is just slightly too small for me. Now battery life. I compared this to my wife's current iPhone 5S and the battery life was surprisingly a little bit better. So it's gotta be the new internals in this phone that's just maybe more battery efficient. So I get about 1 or 2 hours less than what Apple claims just because I'm a heavy user, but that might be different for you. So to sum it all up, after a weekend, I do love this phone, but it's just not the phone for me. But that doesn't mean that I don't recommend it for you. One thing I will say though is do not get the 16 gigabyte model because this is such a great phone with all the new internals in it, especially with the 4K video recording. But after you download a couple apps and install the things you need to install and take a couple pictures, let alone a 4K video clip, you're gonna be out of memory. So I say try to save up that extra $100 or find an extra $100 and get the $499 model that's 64 gigabytes and you're golden. Whether you want the space gray one, the rose gold one, like this one, the gold or the silver one, I think this is a great phone and I still do recommend it. So this is the iPhone SE. Those were my thoughts on it after a weekend with it. Mine will be going back to the Apple Store, but I still think that you should consider picking one up for yourself. If you like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you love this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel to find out about the next one. I think that might be something that Dave 2D says. So Dave, if you're watching, didn't mean to steal that, but that's actually really catchy. Thanks so much for watching, guys. My name is Jerry Land with NOBA Tech, and to the next one and beyond.